All right, let's jump right into this explainer and uncover the secrets of the Kandyan kingdom. We're talking about an absolutely impregnable mountain fortress that literally defied empires. If you're studying grade 8 history, specifically lesson 2, section 2.1, you are in the exact right place. We're going to look at the kingdom's origins, its most legendary kings, and how a fortress completely surrounded by nature's ultimate defenses finally fell in 1815.
Here is our roadmap for today. The mountain fortress, early champion defenders, the cultural reviver, and finally, the final king and the fall.
So let's start right at the beginning with part 1, the mountain fortress. Now this kingdom was actually born from a rebellion. A powerful elite named Sena Samatha Wikramabahu broke Kandy away from the Kotte kingdom to establish it as its own independent power base. And his genius? He used geography as his ultimate shield. Think of it like a giant natural castle. The Mahaweli River wrapped around it like a massive moat, while the Udawetha and Hantana mountain ranges stood like towering fortress walls. If an invading army wanted to get him, they couldn't just march up. They had to squeeze through narrow, dangerous choke points, specifically the Balana and Hanasgiria mountain passes.
Talk about an ultimate mismatch. You see, the Portuguese were coastal fighters. They were used to flat ground and traditional battle formations. Out here, they were completely lost in the rugged hills. The Kandians, on the other hand, had the ultimate home court advantage. They mastered surprise attacks, they'd block off roads, and they knew every inch of that terrain. It was a complete tactical nightmare for any foreign invader trying to climb up into those hills. Moving right along to Section 2, Early Champion Defenders. Meet our first champion, King Wimaleta Saradarma I. When he took power back in 1592, he actually wasn't the legal heir to the throne. So what do you do in that situation? Well, he pulled off a brilliant political chess move. He secured his legal right to rule by marrying Princess Dona Katharina, also known as Kusamana Sana Devi. And just like that, this incredibly smart move launched a whole new royal dynasty in Kandy. If this king had a gamer stat card, you'd see a totally perfect balance. On the military side, he was an absolute powerhouse. He defeated the Sita-Hawaka kingdom and crushed the Portuguese in major clashes, like the Battle of Denture in 1594 and the Battle of Balena in 1602. But here's the cool part. While he was fighting off invaders with one hand, he was simultaneously rescuing Buddhism from decline with the other. He brought the higher ordination, or Upasampada, back from Burma and poured resources into renovating major sites like the Lankatilaka and Godaladaniya temples. Next up is the master tactician, King Rajasingha II, ruling from 1635 to 1687. This guy had one singular, massive goal on his mind: kick the Portuguese out of the country for good. To pull it off, he executed a brilliant 3-step strategy. Step 1, he completely obliterated the Portuguese army, led by Captain General Diogo de Melo, right in the middle of a muddy paddy field at the famous Battle of Ganaroa in 1638. Step 2, he played smart politics, teaming up with the Dutch in 1658 to finally push the Portuguese all the way out. And step 3, he seized the momentum and expanded his own kingdom's borders by taking back lands that had been previously occupied. All right, on to part 3, the cultural reviver. Imagine taking over a whole kingdom when you're just 16 years old. That's exactly what King Kirti Sri Rajasingha did. But what's absolutely fascinating about this ruler is that he was actually a Hindu. Yet he learned under the great Buddhist monk Walivida Saranankara Thero, and rather than focusing on constant warfare, he decided to shift the kingdom's focus to sparking a massive Buddhist renaissance in Sri Lanka. He was all about the Great Revival. He re-established the higher ordination again, this time bringing it from Siam, which is modern-day Thailand, in 1753. This move actually originated the Siam sect, which is still active today. He also promoted his teacher, Saranankara Thero, to Sangharaja, renovated the incredible Dumbala Viharaya, and made the annual Dulata Parahara even more spectacular by blending cultural traditions and adding the Hindu Devala Paraharas into the mix. Which brings us to our final act, Part 4, the final king and the fall. Enter King Sri Wikrama Rajasingha, the kingdom's very last ruler. Now, he didn't just casually inherit the throne. He was strategically placed there as a young prince by a super powerful official named Pilimathalawe. Actually, Pilimathalawe secretly thought he could just control this young king like a puppet. Before everything went sideways, the young king actually accomplished a ton. Because the people had his back early on, he successfully fought off a massive English invasion in 1803.
Plus, he left behind beautiful, iconic architectural landmarks that completely define Kandy today, like the stunning Patharipua at the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic and the gorgeous Kirimahuda Lake situated right opposite it.
But here, sadly, is where the tragedy hits. By 1815, a massive internal political crisis erupted. The trust and relationships between the king, the powerful elite, and the ordinary people just completely shattered. He lost his popular support, leaving him entirely unprotected and isolated. Ultimately, this devastating internal betrayal led straight to the signing of the Kandyan Convention, a treaty in 1815 that officially handed this unconquerable kingdom right over to the British.
Looking at this timeline, it's pretty wild. This kingdom survived centuries of intense foreign attacks. They fought off the Portuguese, they masterfully maneuvered around the Dutch, but the exact moment that internal unity broke in 1815, British Governor Sir Robert Brownrigg was able to just walk right in and take over without facing that legendary united resistance. So I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder for your exams. A fortress might have the highest mountains, the deepest rivers, and the bravest champions on earth. But what happens when the defenders turn on themselves? A kingdom that geography fiercely protected for centuries was, in the end, undone by its own internal politics. Good luck with your grade 8 history studies, and always remember to look for the human story hiding behind the facts.